2002 was a scary time for LEGO. Despite having a lot of successes with releases of old themes and a few good themes like Bionicle, the company was really struggling. They needed a new original idea fast, especially after licenses like Belleville and Jack Stone horrifically tanked. Only one theme could save the company now, and that theme was Galidor. Galidor, Defenders of the Outer Dimension, was a LEGO theme that lasted from 2002 to 2002. Unsurprisingly, this theme was a huge financial failure. It had very strange looking figures that didn't fit the system, and a TV show and video game that didn't go well either.
I tried to go into Mondo Claw instead I got a stupid piece of fruit. How lame is that?
Millions of beings are depending on you to save them, whether they know it or not.
I can't even save my best friend and you're telling me I have to save an entire dimension.
A lot of effort went into designing this theme, and a whole range of toys were announced, almost 12 sets in the first wave. It had these transparent cardboard boxes that reminded me of 90s LEGO sets with their open up flap. Today, I'll be opening up Nepal. So I think it just opens up from the side. Don't want to destroy the box too much, but let's have a look. I think you just peel it up like here. Just after trying in vain to open it carefully for a while. There we go. As you can see, the armbands around it have disintegrated, leaving this residue on all the pieces, which is really fun. This is the first time I'm ever actually touching Galidor. Look at the... All sealed Galidor sets tend to have this problem, which is why I don't mind opening up Nepal today. If you're interested in these kind of unboxings, let me know and I'll do more. The amount of elastic residue from this, like those bands that hold the figures together, even the one that for Electra, they've just snapped and destroyed inside the packaging. The set has no real instructions, so you really just get a pile of limbs tapped onto the table. These are all the parts laid out, and now I'm going to build the main Nepal figure. And here it is out of the box. I was very surprised how durable and how well these pieces go together. They use the snapping sort of ball joints that are used nowadays in ratchet LEGO pieces, but this was the first use of them. These parts are very durable, and it works really well together. All the limbs are designed so that they tuck in nicely. Ultimately, it results in a figure that's more durable than 90s LEGO sets of the time. It ends up standing about 17 bricks high, roughly, and it scales well next to minifigs and other system sets. You get quite a large figure, considering this was only 10 US when it came out. The level of detail is best shown in the head sculpt, where the goggle mechanism allows the eyes to be opened and closed. This allows a lot more emotion in the character, and is a good competitor in other action figure markets, including the spring-loaded grabber arm that it has on the other arm. These two parts are made out of slightly softer plastic than the rest of it, and the axle hole actually allows Technic bricks to be attached to this grey piece. Another part worth mentioning is this additional blue extension. It allows another arm to be attached at the back or the top. It's also a slightly darker blue than the rest of it. Otherwise, all the colours in this set match to existing LEGO colours very well. Now, part of what makes Galidor intriguing are these new ratchet joints that it pioneered. These have been used in sets quite frequently after, and it actually can still fit actual Galidor figures. As you can see, you can build with system parts attached to these type of pieces. Figures like Metalbeard actually use the same type of ratchet joints, which means, of course, that Nepal's limbs work on Metalbeard as well as vice versa. This allows a lot more usability for these parts. Even the head sculpt and all the pieces have Technic pin connection, so they can be connected in that way as well. Comparing these to Bionicle, LEGO's best-selling theme at that time, it's clear that the glinching system of these joints limits the possibilities that can be accomplished with it.
Hey, Ham! Look! I'm Picasso!
I don't get it.
You uncultured swine! What are you looking at, you hockey puck?
As I said before, this set doesn't come with any instructions, but it does show some promotional art for it, as well as a Galidor poster on the other side, which was the same for all the figures. With some really well-made figures and a really strong idea, it's hard to see why Galidor failed to the extent that it did. A lot of people are quick to blame the move away from system, but Bionicle managed to succeed by moving away from the system. Ultimately, I think it might come down to the marketing. These toys were not given a very good marketing push, and a lot of people were confused by the idea. These toys tested very well in focus groups with kids, but when it was released publicly, it just didn't match that audience. Lego collectors didn't want them because they didn't connect, and action figure collectors didn't want them because they didn't know anything about this show that wasn't very good on its own. Ultimately, Galidor was a really cool idea that just didn't make it at the time. And because of Galidor, it was very close to Lego almost going bankrupt. There's a lot to thank Galidor, but there's also a lot of mistakes it made. Ultimately, the Galidor sets worked well on their own as an action figure, but the reason they failed was because they tried to be a Lego set. In a different era and a different time, Galidor might have done well as its own separate action figure line. But regardless, it's a very interesting look at Lego's past.